Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a big game. You'll travel across the globe in this iconic archaeological adventure, but it won't be just bad guys bent on ruling the world in your way. Indy will have to work through an ancient world full of puzzles, exploration, and side quests. This guide will get you ready to don the hat and leather jacket and get the most out of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle without missing some of the best the world has to offer. This is Colt Eastwood. Welcome back to the channel. Special thanks to Bethesda for sponsoring today's video. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is now available to download on Xbox and PC. We're going to give you all of the tips and tricks that will get you ready to play Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. If you end up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new content, and let's talk about how to play the new Indiana Jones game. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a first-person explorer and action-adventure game. It is truly a simulator, putting you in the shoes of Indiana Jones, fighting an evil army and delving into ancient tombs and discover secrets. But there's much more to this game than the iconic whip and Harrison Ford's wit. One of the first things you'll want to do when you play Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is explore, and that means looking around every corner of its highly detailed world. You will feel like you've been thrown into the world of 1937, and interacting with objects in the game will give you an insight into backstory and ancient artifacts you'll discover. Pick up and interact with everything you find in the world. Things will be highlighted with a white outline or a gold outline for you to collect. Collecting these items will not only flesh out the story and the lore, but it will also give you adventure points. The adventure points will stack up as you discover, recover, and complete quests. And these are currency that you can use to level up Indiana Jones. Be on the lookout for food. In Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, there are breads and fruits that will increase your health and stamina. When you get into fights, stack as many of these as you can in your inventory. You'll want to use them before or after these fights. These regenerate in different locations, or you can just continue to find them in Nazi camps or even civilian outposts. You'll also want to look for books that will give you perks and abilities that will make combat more powerful, increase your stamina and health bar, and give you access to different combat techniques. One of the first perks you'll want to unlock is the Lucky Hat. This is an ability that allows Indy, when he's down in a fight, to crawl on the ground, pick up his hat, and give you a second wind. It will give you an opportunity to get back into the fight with limited health and continue on without reverting back to a checkpoint. Taking the time to look for these books within the open world segments of the game, along with all of the exploration points you'll unlock, will make combat encounters much easier and even give you an upper hand with powerful stealth attacks and the ability to take down bigger enemies. In each of the open worlds, you can find a merchant who will sell you pamphlets that will mark your journal and map locations for these unlockable perks, making exploration much easier and much more rewarding if you take the time to gather money. Early on in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, you'll be tasked to buy a camera from one of these merchants. The camera is one of the easiest ways to collect adventure points to unlock perks. Keep an eye out when you're out in the open world for the top left-hand corner of your screen for the camera icon, which will prompt you to bring up your camera with the D-pad, frame up a picture of an artifact or a historical location, or just a great view. Each of these will be worth a chunk of adventure points, and the camera icon will pop up so often, so keep an eye out for it. The camera is also a bit of a crutch in more difficult puzzles. There will be points of the game where you can use the camera to get additional hints to solve complicated puzzles. Each click of the shutter will give you a small hint, allowing you to work out obstacles when you might be stumped. Indiana Jones' whip is one of the most exciting tools in his arsenal, as it can be used for verticality and iconic rope swings across gaps. Keep an eye out for the right bumper indicator on your screen or white painted edges that will indicate that Indy can use his whip. And the best part of the whip is using it organically in combat. In stealth, you can use the whip to trip an enemy so they're an easy takedown. But when things get tough and enemies are bearing down on you, you can use the whip at a distance to knock weapons out of their hands, trip them up, or reel them in for a punch combo for a quick knockout. Keep in mind you'll need distance to use his whip, so take a few steps back and use the whip to get an advantage when you're outnumbered. Indiana Jones has his trusty revolver for quick takedowns, but ammo is limited, so keep an eye out for red box cartridges of revolver ammo. And make sure you give yourself enough time to reload, as Indy will need to place each and every round in one at a time. And when several soldiers are running at you, it's a bad time to reload. But you have more options. Fist fighting is the best way to take down enemies and get out of trouble when stealth has gone awry. Use the left stick and A to dodge heavy punches, and the right bumper to block punches and return with counters. In most combat scenarios, it's a good idea to punch an enemy 2 or 3 times, back off, and then go on the defense. But using improvised weapons like picking up shovels and handles or hammers can quicken a fight to just seconds, especially if you get behind an enemy to knock them out quickly. Once you're outnumbered with soldiers with firearms, use your whip to disarm them quickly, and run up and grab a weapon from the ground and use it on them. You'll have limited ammo, so choose your shots wisely, then quickly look for the next full weapon magazine to dispatch enemies as quickly as possible. Much of your time in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle will be delving into ancient tombs and crypts, and some of your surroundings will be interactive. Use your lighter to not only help you see in dark locations, but look for torches to light or interactive burnable objects that will reveal openings or clues. Using Indiana Jones' journal is a super helpful way to look back at clues you've picked up, photographs or notes taken that may relate to the location you're trying to solve. Look around at the ancient architecture. Look for hieroglyphics. Look for clues or symbols that will match puzzles you're trying to solve. Keep an eye out for breakable walls. And in that room, there's usually a heavy weapon that you can use to break through a wall, which will open up another part of the room to help you solve a puzzle or advance the tomb. When all else fails, don't forget to look up. Many times you can be looking around, looking down, trying to find a way out of the tomb, and the answer might be right above you with a climbable location for your whip or to mantle. If you want to earn the most money in the game and unlock some of the best perks, you're going to have to risk entering into restricted areas. These are red areas on your map. They'll be crawling with soldiers, but using bottles to distract or taking out enemies one at a time will allow you to access captain's quarters or supply tables, which have money, artifacts, or even chests and safes that you can unlock, with nearby codes and clues that will net you even more money to buy upgrades or additional exploration and quest opportunities. Make sure to loot enemies that are outlined in white. This indicates they either have bandages on them or maybe even an access key or a card. But take your time and be patient, because once a captain blows the whistle, you'll have a ton of enemies to deal with. And if you're ever outnumbered in its restricted area, it's a good idea to either find a good hiding spot or run completely out of the restricted camp, which will cool down the soldiers and let them return back to their posts. But seeing the red restricted areas on your map within the journal is a good indication of a great location to find a ton of money and opportunities to upgrade Indiana Jones. The last and best tip for playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is take your time and explore everything. There are many locations in each of the bigger open areas that allow you to organically climb, sneak, or bypass with a disguise and discover a ton of ancient relics and opportunities to delve into a fully fleshed out side quest. There are caves, ancient abandoned burial sites, and surprising discoveries. If you take the time to search out the corners of this world, you'll soon find and realize that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle has a ton of discoveries waiting for you in a world full of attention to detail. And the best part is your time with this game will make you feel like you really are Indiana Jones. This is Cole Eastwood. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed the tips and tricks and it helps you dive into Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. If you ended up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new weekly content. If you want to further support the work we're doing here on the Cole Eastwood channel, you can hit the join button below. That'll get you early access for videos, channel membership, and the emoji badges and all kinds of stuff. And you can also support the channel through Patreon, and there are tiers there to support what we're doing here. Also, check out the XNC podcast. It runs every Monday night, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Their middle-aged game guy and I will talk about the news, break down our thoughts and impressions for Indiana Jones and other games coming out this year, and rumors of what's going on coming up for gaming as well. So let me know what you think of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle and how you expect to play the game, what your favorite part of it is. And while you do that, as I always say, be nice.